In Hollywood. And what I believe that all of us in this room is going to come to realize is that at the end of the day, no matter what our vocation might be, every single person is a storyteller. Is that right?
Absolutely. And it's so important to understand that creativity is a power that we all have. It's a muscle that we can all learn, exercise, and we can just learn to use it better. It's not about making movies or making music or great art or poetry necessarily. It's about just figuring out how you want to live your life and what you want to do next. And there are a lot of parallels between these things that are sort of fun to talk about. How you stimulate new ideas, but it's all creativity, and we all have that, and we shouldn't think that no one should ever think they're not a creative, right? Everyone is.
In whatever way it is, don't you think that humans have a need, like a very just basic fundamental need to create?
I think it starts, and I do this every night when I look at my cellist, Tina Guo. We started playing when she was 7 years old. I can't remember what year, how old I was when I started playing. And you guys are talking about storytelling, being creative. When I was a tiny little child, I was creative playing with Legos and then turned into the piano, and that became my language. But what I got good at was being playful, and that's what I see when Tina plays the cello. And she's very, very, she's a master at what she does. But that we include a sense of playfulness into everything we do, and it doesn't matter if you're a filmmaker, if you're a composer, or if you're doing something completely different. Maybe Butch. but on the whole, this sense of this wonderment, this discovery, this putting things together which shouldn't quite fit together, and somehow you still end up. We are all interested in telling the one story, and that is the story of us, the story of mankind, the story of who we are on this tiny little planet.
And the only thing I would add to that is that in telling that story of us, and yet sharing our creativity, whether it's in a project, a business you want to start, or something, it's your profession to try to create something that you're going to share with people, finding that connection between an idea that excites you and an expression of yourself, that intersection is really fun. It is fun.
Yeah.
It's play to explore. If you don't, if you allow it to be sort of free and let the world around you and your friends around you help inspire you, it can be incredibly exciting and fulfilling.
So let's begin today's journey really by taking a look at the highly emotional scene. I think you know which one I'm talking about, from Gladiator, one of the most inspirational film compositions. Let's watch Gladiator.
Maximus, Quintus, free my men. Senator Gracchus is to be reinstated. There was a dream that was Rome. It shall be realized. These are the wishes of Marcus Aurelius.
Free the prisoners! Go!
Wishes are safe.
Well, actually, we're doing this slightly wrong because this was done very much the way Ron and I work, whereby I sit at the keyboard, you start telling the story, I start just playing whatever comes, whatever you say to me, I translate it into my language. I mean,
That is beautiful translation. Whatever Ron says, Hans translates it into his language.
Well, it's an interesting creative collaboration because music, I mean, I'm not a musician. It's a language that I don't speak, I don't understand, and yet it's so vitally important to what we do, to emotions, and it is a language. And every other facet of telling stories, I understand more or less how to do that job. I do not know how to do this job, but it's still I have to lead. I have to try to make the movie soar. I remember working on the first time we worked together, Backdraft. I discovered you had this capacity to take our conversations, creative conversations. I could talk to you the way I would talk to an actor or a writer, and it would transform what you were going to play.
but yeah, I mean, look, should we try this?
Okay.
Okay,
I haven't started this piano, so I don't know. So as you tell me the story, tell me what you want to tell me. Because we've done this on Rush, we've done this on a lot of films.
We did it on Backdraft.
Okay.
We're going to do Backdraft.
If I can remember.
Well, Backdraft, I remember, started off, and the score was powerful, it was emotional, it was everything, but it didn't feel like it was capturing the spirit of these characters. And so I said, well, come talk to me. Come talk to me about these brothers who are these firefighters.
So one of the things that Ron said, which was really profound, I thought, was firefighters and ambulancemen, first responders, they are the good guys. When they turn up at your house, they're only there to rescue you. So you can write like a love theme, like a patriotic love theme for them. Plus the other thing was the brothers in the movie were Irish.
They were Irish.
A patriotic love name. I love it.
So I thought we could go there. But it literally was like, which is the sort of heroic move.
At that point, so that opening, I was like leaning in as an audience member, feeling it, and also, but as the director of the movie, I was feeling it didn't quite take off the way I thought it should, and I was just saying, yeah, but you know, the sacrifice and what they give of themselves, and then Hans said, oh, you mean this?
How we work. I mean, it's like he's speaking and he's creating images in my head with his stories, and I'm just translating them.
It's amazing because you can.
Oh yes, that's heroic.
Yes.
You know, and there's a sort of there's a poetic and a usefulness in this thought.
Yeah, and Hans often has great musicians around in the room, and he creates this environment where there's this sort of free association and discussion. There you go. That's what you came up with. I remember that, and it just changed everything. But he'll also be looking at a screen and just looking at it and say, quiet, turn the sound off. Let me just watch it for a second. And he'll just start doing this, and this is in the coolest studio in Hollywood. The most creative, the epicenter of creativity is Hans's studio there in Santa Monica with these great artists around, and this ability to just kind of connect with the images he sees and make music.
That was really wonderful for us to get a little tiny glimpse into the back and forth between you. Let's talk about this. I think everyone in here would like, yes, Ron Howard.
Nice
down in our journey a little bit, but I want to know where you get your inspiration, because we are all looking for inspiration. We all are storytellers. Where does yours come from? Where does yours come from?
Well, I find inspiration in those moments, and then it builds from there. So it's like I'll see something, I'll read something that I connect with, and I, as a storyteller, and I've been around that since I was a child. You know, I started acting when I was 4 years old, and I just learned about sort of building a collaboration around an idea and reaching a point where it just means more to me and can connect with the audience. So it's always about a communication.
And when you said those moments, are you speaking about everyday moments
They can be, absolutely.
or the big moments?
Both. I mean, it can be anything that sparks my imagination and kind of opens my heart is, I think, always the beginning of something strong. And then because it is a matter of communication, it's a question of sharing those ideas and feelings.
Yeah.
Do you feel that too? And if the answer is yes, that's empowering. If it's no, then you know you have to ask follow-up with that question. Well, why? Because I think it's always important to trust your instincts, trust your gut, around whatever inspires you, but also to test your taste, because storytellers need good taste, and they have to build on their own. But it's always important to challenge that so they don't get into a creative rut.
Absolutely, and putting it in front of people. I mean, the great thing we are allowed to do is that we are allowed to go and show our story in front of lots of people and figure out if we're advancing the storytelling genre in a way.
And what else can your idea yield?
Right.
It's yours, that's great, but don't hold it precious, share it. One of the greatest things is to just tell your friends, talk to people around dinner, here's what I'm thinking, and see how they react. It doesn't mean they're more right than you are, but they may say something that's going to stimulate your imagination. Your antenna is tuned toward a certain set of ideas, themes, feelings that you want to express, or a project you want to do, or an idea you want to create. And their response will only heighten that sensitivity that you have now to this idea. Whether they like the idea or don't like the idea, it almost doesn't matter.
But very often what happens, because I do this too, I do it with my kids, hey, I got this idea, and I start telling them, and very often I get back, nah, that's the worst thing I ever heard.
That's what kids say to their parents, right?
And the thing that I realize is, all ideas aren't just, the idea might be good, but I haven't gotten good enough yet to execute.
That's right.
And you need to go and, you need to give yourself some time to practice the scales, to practice the piano, to practice the words, to practice how are you going to go and make this work.
How does this idea fulfill itself best?
Yes.
So, is it Wagnerian?
Right.
Is it Irish American?
Yeah.
What is it? The ideas are the same, but how are they expressed? And so that matters with a creative project, but it also matters, in almost every decision that we make in life that's a crossroads.
So yesterday, one of our founders, Sandy Tillotson, told us that she had been accused of being a daydreamer in her life, and she realized that was a good thing.
Right.
That was a great thing. So how do you take those dreams? We have some people with really big visions and really big dreams in this room. So I want you to tell us how you take those moments or the things that you think about or dream about, and how do you take them from just a kernel of an idea, and then what's your process to bring them to reality? How do you make those dreams really happen?
Well, you begin with that idea that you're passionate about. You test it, you think about it, and now it's time to act on it. And now it becomes craft. This is where the hard work comes, but it's exciting work because you're working towards something. You're exploring something. Scientists. I learned so much from doing Apollo 13 and Beautiful Mind about science and the way it works. Genius about Albert Einstein, and they work problems, and they're thrilled when they reach a dead end. because they can eliminate that, and that doesn't mean they give up working on the project.
Absolutely.
They just keep marching forward. So when craft comes into play, now you begin breaking your idea down into smaller bits. How do I start? What's my outcome? What do I hope to achieve? What can this project mean? What can this story mean? Where are we trying to go? You can ask, by developing and asking smart questions in a kind of a Socratic way. You keep testing your idea, but inevitably you're pushing it forward, but you have to keep acting on it.
Right.
It has to, I mean, dreams are wonderful. I applaud the dreamers. The world spins on dreams, but you have to begin to really understand it and take it into action.
Well,
Well,
I think
go ahead.
one really vital component is getting collaborators. And, you know, and I don't know if you do this very early on. I suspect, and we never talked about it, but you do this very early on. As the idea comes, you go, oh well, then this person would be really good, this person would be really good, this person would be really good. So you build a family that, you know, you...
But one of the things I love about working, with you is you're a great artist. I'm going to embarrass you. You're a genius, and he is.
He's wrong.
But he also creates these collaborations around him that is so unbelievably stimulating.
Wow.
That he's inviting the ideas to be challenged at all times, and it only elevates them. I'm going to tell a quick story about collaboration. So I started acting at 4 years old. I began on a television show that was incredibly successful in the United States called The Andy Griffith Show. This began when I was 6 years old. Many of you won't know what that show was, but I played the sheriff's son in Small Town. Andy Griffith. I played Andy Griffith's son, a character named Opie. Well, in the environment around this show was that the actors were allowed to speak up. It wasn't chaos. The writers and producers and directors ran the show, but there was this open exchange. So all through the first season, I felt was made to feel so comfortable and so included, even though I was only 6 years old, that I could even offer up a suggestion once in a while. Now, they never took any of it, which frankly kind of pissed me off. And I will never forget, in the second episode of the second season, I was 7 years old, and we were rehearsing. All of us were together, and Andy Griffith, the star of the show and the leader of the show, was in the rehearsal, so was the director, and my job was to come in and say, "Hey, Paul," and I don't remember exactly what my line was, but I had a line of dialogue. And I sort of stopped, and they said, "What is it, Ronnie?" And I said, "Well, I don't think a kid would say it that way." And they said, "Well, how do you think a kid would say it?" And I rephrased it, pitched my new little spin on this scene, and the director said, "Well, good, why don't you say it that way?" And I remember the affirmation,
Validation.
and I smiled. And Andy Griffith from across the sheriff's office said, "What are you grinning at, youngin'?" He really doesn't talk that way. "What are you grinning at, youngin'?" I said, "That's the first idea of mine that you've taken." There was a little pause, and he said, "Well, it was the first one that was any damn good, so let's now rehearse the scene." And I learned that collaboration was an exciting, playful experience, you know?
Actually, which brings me, it's exactly what I see happening constantly on when we're working together. It's like I'm surrounded by masterful musicians and technicians, and they're all really good, and they all got really big egos. But they're not mean. I mean, in other words, when I'm saying they have really big egos, that's a good thing, because what they recognize is that the best idea will win. And you know, like everybody throws their idea into the pot, and then somebody comes up with something really extraordinary, and everybody just instantly goes and supports this one idea. And that's how, and we keep moving forward.
But you have this great capacity, sitting at your keyboard, to hear a piece of music that you've written, that they've worked on, you're seeing it up against the screen, and you're saying, you're the first one to say, no, not good enough.
Yeah.
And in the room, around these artists, around the directors and producers, to suddenly go back and merely play it's just it's just a couple of notes. It's a little change that really transforms everything. It's really, again, for somebody who doesn't speak the language, it's always mind-blowing. But it's just a reminder that sometimes moving a thing just from here to there is the difference between a stale idea that is just like everything else and not going to be special, and something that breaks through and really makes a difference to your audience, your customers.
I hate it and I love it. Sitting there and saying in front of everybody, I have no idea what to do. And it's amazing because everybody comes to your restaurant
And they're also gifted.
They will give you their best. They will
So
give
as
you
we're
their
taking these dreams and living into reality, we've just been talking about, I want everybody to see it in action. So take a look now at some of the most amazing cinematic work. Ron, take a look.
Thank you very much, Houston. We got a couple of housekeeping procedures for you. We'd like you to roll right to 060 and all your rates. Roger that. Rolling right 060. And then if you could give your oxygen tank a stir. Roger that. This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem. We have a main bus being underrolled. We've got a lot of pressure at the door here, Houston. Just went offline. Oh, there's another master alarm, Houston.
I'm checking the quad. There's no refresh to that. Give me 2 quads.
We've got a computer restart.
I'm ready to figure the RCS.
We've got a baseline fire system. We've got multiple caution warning, Houston. We've got to reset and restart.
All right, I'm on SCS.
And you're up against real history. So you really got to bring everybody to that moment that really happened in our history.
Well, thank you. It was an honor to tell that story, and the research was changed my life in a lot of ways because I learned so much about NASA and that idea of the best idea wins, which is how they saved their lives. Was the immediate, all hands on deck problem solving. But I also, as a filmmaker, learned something. That, remember I talked about if you move something over just 1% or 2%, it just elevates things? Well, we were trying to figure out how to do the weightlessness in an authentic way. We experimented with wires, we did all kinds of things. And Steven Spielberg, it's nice to have talented, brilliant friends, said to me, they used to train by locking down a capsule in an airplane and doing these parabolas that would create weightlessness, and they would practice being weightless. So then I went to Jim Lovell, Coach Jim Lovell, and I asked him about it. And he said, oh yeah, that's the KC-135. We call it the vomit comet. Because you just about can't do it without throwing up. But it works. He got us permission to film in the KC-135 by locking down the capsule and letting the actors be weightless. And I'm telling you, the authenticity of that informed everything. Even the shots that we did that weren't in the vomit comet, that weren't actually weightless, the actors acting, they had a sense of it. And it gave the whole movie authenticity, but it also gave us some great thrills. I remember we took this cocktail, it's called Scope Dex, dexedrine and scopolamine to help keep from getting sick up there. But one day, Bill Paxton, who was the one we saw there, the late great Bill Paxton, tumbling around weightless. That was a shot done on the airplane, doing the parabola where it would be weightless for 22 seconds at a time.
Gotta get the shots. Yeah.
The shots. One time, he came up to me after a take, and I was up there weightless also, but it was very confusing, very chaotic, and he came up to me and he said, Hey, dude! I was the director, he called me dude. Hey, dude! He said, the camera guy just hurled on my head! It puked all over it. And I thought, oh no, now we're gonna have to land and clean up. He just grabbed a towel, wiped it off, and he said, let's go again! And the actor was so rose to the occasion of doing this very adventuresome thing. But it really informed.
I love that you're talking about authenticity because as the...
Oh, I have to say one more thing.
Say one more thing.
I then later saw Spielberg, and he said, well, how did you do the weightlessness? And I said, well, I followed your idea. We went up, we did the count, and I said, you're kidding. He said, I was just throwing that out there. I didn't think you'd be crazy enough to do it.
Look, he acted on his dream. He made the dream reality. I listened to both Ron and Hans have a master class online, and you can kind of dive a little deeper and hear about their processes. And I wanted to learn a little bit more about them before I was able to interview them. And I was really struck by, you just mentioned it a minute ago, but the amount of work that you've got your dream, but a dream doesn't materialize without, and I was so impressed by the power of the storyboard, the power of ideas, the power of breaking it down shot by shot by shot. But sometimes you spend all day just getting ready for one shot because it moves the needle, like you say. So there's work to get that dream to reality.
Well, we share this in what we do on films, and it always comes down to a kind of a dream and a question, right? So if you look at a scene, or you have an idea for a scene, and you sort of say, I think I know what we want. How do we get it? And it's a lot of moving parts. And you look at a scene, and you say,
what am I trying to say?
Yeah.
Plus, I try to, no, the better the filmmaker you work with, the harder my job gets. Because the better the filmmaker, he's already very articulate about his story. He's got the best DP, so visually, he manages to tell the story. The actors can tell the story. So what part is left for me? I mean, I remember, I think one of my favorite projects we did together was Prospects, where ostensibly Ron and the writer, Peter Ron, our friend Peter, came in for about 2 weeks, I think, beforehand, where we were supposed to talk about the songs, since it was the 70s, you know.
Yeah.
And we actually never talked about the songs. The way I remember it was, we talked our way to the script, to the story, from a musical perspective. And I would go, well, hang on a second, if you got a shot like that, I could do something like that. And then the dailies started turning up. And
well, you're being a little bit kind, because my little dream, my idea was we need songs. It's the 70s, we need to sell the idea of the 70s. Let's have songs. You were amenable to the idea, but as we started talking about it and considering songs, and I started talking about the story, and you started asking questions. What is this scene really supposed to be? What are you trying to convey? What else can it be? And the what else is the most important question. What more? What else? What are we overlooking? And I began to see there was something else that could be more psychologically connected to those characters and the heartbeat of those characters and the emotion of those characters, and that the songs would work in opposition to that. And I was slow to come around to that, but I was so grateful that I was finally...
I thought I could get away with like 2 minutes of score, the rest of songs, you know.
But in your masterclass, I love that you say that music, generally music, can evoke feelings from a person. But scoring a movie is different because you have to have the right note with the right picture at the right time.
Sort of. I think of it like, I think of it like this. I think the worst thing you can do is manipulate people. I think that's a hideous thing to do. So
That's like, you're right, it's like putting one over on something.
yeah.
You might convince them for a moment,
Yeah.
but long term, it'll never...
We're back to
Sort of,
collaboration, right?
you know, making them cry, you know, that's like. So, do you really want to know? I'll tell you. So what I try to do is I try to pretend what I do is doors. I'm going to go and open this door and let you walk through and give you the possibility to have an emotional I'm not going to tell you what the emotional experience is, but the door opens and lets you in and gives you, because most of our life, you know, we try to sort of clamp down on having an emotional experience, because you know, it doesn't really work with, you know, going through life as a dreamer. Most people can't, so I'm giving you that. And then secondly, you ready? Okay, it's a lengthy story. When I was a teenager, when I just left school, I was in a band, and we would play every rotten working men's club in England, you know, and it was grim up north, you know, people were poor, and I remember just seeing this woman, you know, in her grey raincoat on a grey day, and she's got these two horrible kids that are just like tugging at her, you know, she has
And in this, are you hearing music in your mind? Does music always paint
Well, part
that?
but what happens is this, and I realized that at the weekend she had a choice. She could go to the pub, spend her money, or she could come to one of our movies and get an experience. And we better deliver that experience for her because she worked hard. She, you know, there was more at stake than just being glamorous during the movie. It was, you know, it wasn't about the red carpet it was about, you know, and I gave her a name, Doris and Bradford. Doris and Bradford going through the movie and then writing to this day and writing for her. And I checked, would Doris and Bradford be moved by this? Would this be honest?
You know, it's so important what he's saying.
It comes down to people, right?
It does.
Human connections.
The reality is, look, we talk about what we do, but it often sounds kind of high and mighty, as though, you know, we know what we want, and you either like it or you don't like it. And that's not really what makes what we do matter. What makes what we do matter is when it's communication that lands. And in order for the communication to be really pure and honest, it does have to come from your heart and your mind and your sense of right and wrong and all of those things. But it is communication. And we have customers too. Absolutely. And we're not crass about it. We're trying to connect to their minds and hearts. But it is transactional. We are sharing something of ourselves, and we do hope that our viewers, you know, are our customers, and will appreciate, you know, what we have to offer.
We talk about that. It's capturing hearts and minds. It's making a human connection. It really is such a game changer. All right, should we look at another movie clip? Because it takes a village to put them on. Let's take a scene that had a lot of great collaboration to put it through. The Formula One racers of Rush. Take a look.
I'm the director on
Odyssey stage, just I've been a little bit more attuned to it, and really the layers are almost effortless.
Well, this was a pivotal moment, a little bit like in Apollo 13, you know, when the tanks moved. This is Niki Lauda's epic crash that